Hello, it is Hanah Narine, and I am going to go over my second semester projects in advanced drafting. For my projects this semester, I used a software called Revit. Revit is a building information modeling software used to design building structures and components. Another program I used with my projects is Revit City, and Revit City is a website where people can upload components they have made in Revit. I use it to download furniture into my houses. At the beginning of second semester, I had only done 2 houses in Revit, so I decided to do another house with a video tutorial. The video reinforced the ideas from the first video while also teaching me some new ideas. The first step to building my house was building the interior, exterior, and foundation walls. Next, I added in all the windows and doors. The video taught me how to put in atrium windows. Then I added a finished floor and the stairs to my basement. After that, I added beams in the basement and a ceiling with lights around my whole house. I then moved on to my roof, which was a 2-part gable roof. The roof included fascia board, gutters, and soffit. I then moved to the exterior part of my house, which was the front porch that included foundation walls, columns, railings, and stairs. The back porch was 2 levels and included stairs, railings, and columns. I also included furniture in both of my porches. For the side of my house, I added grass, a sidewalk, driveway, trees, and bushes. I then moved on to the interior part of my house. I started in the kitchen by adding lower and upper cabinets, appliances, and a countertop. Next was the bathroom, where I added a sink, a toilet, bathtub, and shower. I then added the utilities like a washer, a dryer, and a water heater. I also added furniture to all the rooms in my house like beds, tables, couches, televisions, and plants. For this project, I created 8 sheets. The cover sheet is in the top left corner, the site is right underneath it, in the top right corner is the basement, and the first floor is right underneath that one. In the top left corner is the north and south elevations, and right underneath it is the east and west elevations. In the top right corner are the wall sections, and right underneath that one is the standard details. I then rendered different parts of my house, like the basement, with and without furniture, a bedroom, and the exterior of my house. I really liked this project because it reinforced the ideas from the first video tutorial and expanded on those ideas. The video was also able to teach me other ideas like adding in atrium windows and how to build a 2-part roof. With this video tutorial, I even added some of my own ideas regarding to the porches and site. In my previous projects, all I had been doing was building houses, and I wanted to build something different. I ended up finding a video tutorial on building a concrete building with Revit structures. The first step was to set up my grid and add my columns with piecers and pilasters. Next, I added my structural walls with footing. I then added framing with concrete floors over it. Lastly, put fabric reinforcement over the flooring and created a shaft. For the site, I added dirt and made it look like a construction site with construction cones and construction vehicles. For this project, I created 7 sheets. In the top left corner is the cover, and right underneath it is the site. In the top right corner is the first level, and right underneath that one is the second level. In the top left corner is the north and south elevation, and right underneath that one is the east and the west elevation. In the center is the wall sections. I then rendered different parts of my structure like the interior, the roof, and the exterior of it. I didn't enjoy this project as much as the ones beforehand, but it was a great learning experience on the structural side of a building. At this point, I had a pretty good understanding on how to use Revit, so I decided to build my own house without a video. I did some research on different types of houses and decided to build a Cape Cod house. A Cape Cod house is a low, broad, single-story frame building with a moderately steep pitched gable roof and a large central chimney. Before I could build my house, I drew a couple of different houses and then dimensioned them. After that, I chose my first house design that was 60 by 30. The first step to building my house was building the interior, the exterior, and the foundation walls. Next, I added in the flooring and stairs to go up to the second floor. Then I added in all the windows and doors and moved on to my gable roof. The roof included dormers, which are windows that project vertically from a sloping roof. I had never built them before, so it was very difficult to figure out and took me a while. I then tried to add in vaulted ceilings to the second floor, but I could not figure it out. Cape Cod houses are known for vaulted ceilings, and since I wanted to keep that, I didn't add any ceiling in the second floor. Because of that, you could see the roof shingles in my house. I then moved to the exterior part of my house. The front porch included foundation walls, columns, railings, and furniture. For the side of my house, I added grass, a sidewalk, driveway, trees, bushes, a swing set, and a pool. I then moved into the interior part of my house. I started in the kitchen by adding lower and upper cabinets, appliances, and countertops. Next was the bathroom, where I added sinks, toilets, bathtubs, and shower. I also added furniture to all the rooms in my house, like beds, tables, couches, television, cribs, and more. For this project, I decided to create 8 sheets. In the top left corner is the cover, and right underneath it is the site. In the right corner is the first floor, and right underneath that one is the second floor. In the top left corner is the north elevation, and right underneath it is the south elevation. In the top right corner is the east elevation, and right underneath it is the west elevation. I then rendered different parts of my house, like the porch, the kitchen, the master bedroom, and the exterior of my house. I love this project so much, and I had so much fun building my own house. It was so nice having the freedom of building my own house and letting my creativity flow. After designing a house on my own, I wanted to do another one. With the same research I used before, I decided I wanted to build a Victorian house. There are many different types of Victorian houses, so I decided on the Queen Anne style. This style has a steeply pitched and complex roof, towers, bay windows, and is asymmetric. Before I could build my house, I hand drew a couple houses and then dimensioned them. After that, I chose my third house design that was 65 by 40. The first step to building my house was building the interior, exterior, and foundation walls. Next, I added in the windows and doors, and then added in the flooring and stairs. I also added a ceiling and lights all around my house. For this project, I designed 3 different types of roofs. I created a gable roof for my garage, a steep entrance roof, and a hip roof for my house that included a cone part. I then moved to the exterior part of my house. The front porch included foundation walls, columns, railings, and stairs. For the side of my house, I added grass, a sidewalk, driveway, trees, bushes, and a swing set. I then moved into the interior part of my house. I started in the kitchen by adding lower and upper cabinets, appliances, and countertops. Next was the bathroom, where I added a sink, toilet, bathtub, and a shower. I also added furniture to all the rooms of my house, like beds, stools, couches, televisions, a fish tank, and more. For this project, I decided to create the same 8 sheets as I did before. So in the top left corner is the cover, and right underneath it is the site. In the top right corner is the first floor, and right underneath it is the second floor. In the top left corner is the north elevation, and right underneath it is the south elevation. In the top right corner is the east elevation, and right underneath it is the west elevation. I then rendered different parts of my house, like the kitchen, the entryway, a bedroom, and the exterior of my house. I love this project so much and had so much fun building my own house. Unlike the last house, I had no problems building this one, and I cannot wait to build more houses of different styles on my own. Now that I had built multiple houses, I decided I wanted to 3D print one of them. I decided to print my house from the kit from last semester because it was only 1 story. Before I could print, I separated my houses and roof in Revit because I wanted to be able to look into my house once it was printed. That's the main reason why I chose my house from the kit from last semester. I then removed everything from my house except the interior and exterior walls. I then added a second wall behind the first wall of my exterior walls because I didn't want it to easily break. After that, I exported both STL files and printed my house. The printing of the base of my house was longer than my roof. The roof took about 10 hours, while the base of my house took about 13 hours. I was not able to choose the color of the base or my roof of my house, but I still think it looked great once it was printed. I liked how the house and the roof looked together, but I also liked how I could remove my roof and look into my house. I love the way my house turned out. The only problem I had was the gap between my house roof and the wall from my garage. Next time I 3D print, I just need to double check everything before I print.